Well, I would say be who God made you to be. You're uniquely crafted, how you are supposed to be. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't compare yourself to somebody else because there's always somebody that's better, prettier, better what they do. There's also somebody worse, uglier than you that don't do a good job, that are lazy, right? Just stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Whatever lane God's put you in, you stay in that lane and just don't worry about comparison, right? Because there's no win in comparison. With social media, we're always comparing our backstage life to people's highlight reel, what they're putting online. So don't do that. Stay in your lane and just live the life how you're supposed to live your life.
What if the secret to 30-year real estate career wasn't flashy sales tactics, but something far more rare in today's industry? Unwavering consistency, rooted purpose, and a daily routine that builds clients for life. Today on the Real Estate Roundtable, we're sitting down with someone who has quietly built one of the strongest reputations in all of Polk County. With 29 years in the Lakeland market, over 420 home sales, and more than 200 5-star Google reviews, to back it up, Brian Stevens is proof that success is built one disciplined day at a time. He's a realtor, a community educator, a storyteller, and the creator behind 2 growing YouTube channels, living in Lakeland, Florida, and Realtors of Faith. And today, he's here to pull back the curtain on what really drives long-term success. Welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable. I'm your host, Lancelot Lenard, and this conversation is going to change the way you think about your business. Welcome to the podcast, Brian.
Thank you, Lancelot. I'm really excited to join you. I appreciate it.
Brian, you've spent nearly 3 decades serving the Lakeland and Polk County communities. Take us back to the beginning. What was the moment you realized real estate was more than a job for you, but truly a calling?
Well, it started when my father was a home builder for 25 years right here in Polk County. So I grew up sitting in a model center and, started selling brand new homes, sitting in a model center. And then I realized that I wanted to do general real estate and I got my license and I've been in it ever since.
Awesome. And what did the early years teach you that still guides you today?
Dad, this is a relationship business. It's truly just getting along with people, finding out what their needs are, listening to them, because as salespeople, we like to do more talking than we do listening. So actually listening to people, trying to find out how you can truly help them, and then just providing good solutions.
Was there a mentor moment or challenge that shaped the way you work now?
When I would say probably one of my business partner, Russ, is we have worked side by side for many years, and Russ is a few years ahead of me in age. And so I would call him a colleague. I've always looked up to Russ, his production level, the way he operates, and he is somewhat of a mentor to me also. Along with when my father was alive, my father was a mentor to me also.
Awesome. How did you build a business that people trust for generations?
It takes time, Lancelot. It just takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, right? I mean, it's literally a time-tested method, and honesty, integrity, doing the right thing, not having commission breath, truly helping people and gaining their trust, and just, do your job, right? It's not hard to do. Just do what you say you're going to do, and you will build a long-term business.
Awesome. You're known for your consistency and your structured approach to each day. In an industry where many agents struggle with routine, what does a productive day actually look like for you?
That's a good question. I've had a real estate coach for 6 years now, 6 or 7 years. His name is Matt. Matt taught me, because I was out of the business for about 6 years doing a full-time ministry. When I got back in the business, Matt taught me more routine than structure, and it started with lead generation. Maybe we can talk about that more in a minute, but really having a good solid hour or two in the morning of lead generation, having maybe a later appointment around 11, having some kind of a lunch appointment. My appointments are between 1 and 4:30. Well, I'll do like podcasts like this, or I'll hopefully meet with buyers or sellers, which I have right after this, our appointments. And then I'm at the gym by 4:30 or 5. every single day. That is my appointment with myself. And then I'm there probably for just an hour, but it's very disciplined and structured. And then by 6 o'clock, I'm heading home, maybe return a call or two, maybe a text, and then I'm home for the evening. And that's a great day for me.
And why is lead generation the first thing on your schedule?
It is what you're always going to be doing as a real estate agent, always lead generating. And I used to push it aside and say, I'll do it whenever I can do it. And I would let people and other appointments crowd that time. And because what I learned from my coach is that the lead generation you're doing today will affect your business in 2 to 3 months. And I would tell him, Matt, I've been doing bad on my lead generation. He goes, Brian, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Just when your kids don't have any food to eat in about 2 or 3 months, you just remember that you didn't lead generate that week. And if I trace back my months, my slow closing months, if I go back 2 to 3 months, I'm like, I was distracted then. I didn't make my calls. I wasn't making videos. I wasn't following up with people. It absolutely, you plant the seeds and they will harvest in due time.
Wow. That is, eye-opening for a lot of new agents, hopefully. I've learned that at KW when I was with them in the beginning, is that that's your bread and butter, and that's 2-3 months out. So how do you manage distractions and protect your time?
I learned to say no. Lancelot, if you're like me, you're probably, you're a nice guy. I can tell you're a high I, maybe you love people, you love talking, you like conversating. It's hard to say no sometimes as a people pleaser, right? And so I've just learned to say no and to say I cannot meet then, or this time is blocked. And just setting up it's really boundaries, setting up boundaries in my time, because here's what I've realized in real estate. People will waste your time like they don't care. They really don't. Good people too. Again, not bad, but people will waste your time. So if you don't say no, nobody else is going to do it, and you'll let them control your schedule, which will eventually control how much money you're going to make, and your time and your life.
That is so true, my friend. That is so true. And people don't even realize that they're doing that a lot of times. So it's kind of like, if you just set the standards in a way, they'll figure it out that, oh, yeah, maybe he doesn't have time on a Sunday, or maybe he doesn't have time between 8 and 10 a.m. every morning, because he's doing something. He's busy.
Right.
So I learned that to set expectations also from my coach. I have a coach as well, Mitch. And he told me you just have to set the expectations and put it in your calendar, time block it, and everything else that people want from you is after those time blocked or in between the time blocked periods. That's your time. You're working on your business, or you're working on your family life, or you're working on yourself. But those are important periods of time that you gotta take away from everyday hustle bustle, common communications, and all that stuff.
You do. Yes, correct.
What small habits have created the biggest long-term results?
Oh boy. I think it kind of piggybacks a little bit for the lead generation and trying to be intentional with when I'm going to set my appointments. And at first, when people would try to, crowd into my lead generation time or my workout time, now that's not to say once in a while, if I have to do a walkthrough at 10 a.m., I'm going to do it, right? Because there's no other time to do it. But if for some reason it's a closing or they can only meet at this time, then I'm going to tack on the lead generation time another time, or I just won't. And then my business could suffer, just knowing that. But I would say it's always little small decisions that add up over a period of time, right? That you will find out how that works out for you. I listened to a pastor named Craig Rochelle, and he always talks about getting 1% better each year. And he talks about pre-deciding. If you get 1% better in a certain area each year, all of a sudden in 10 years, you're 10% better. How does that look in your life? So little, small, minor decisions you make each year can result in a lifetime of wins.
Definitely. I mean, I do a lot of Tony Robbins, and he always talks about creating habits. And if you keep doing it every day, it will become a habit. And once it becomes a habit, you could thrive on it, basically, and create good habits. It's the same thing with, he says this, it's about quitting smoking is pretty much the same thing. You have to create a habit about non-smoking, So
Yes.
just saying that, it's like, okay, I would be smoking right now. Instead of going and lighting a cigarette, what do? Let's go bang a nail in a piece of 2x4. or something
Right.
different that
Yes.
will take you away from that act that you were about to do.
That
Uh,
urge. Yes.
Same
Hmm.
thing with every day doing your, lead generation. So,
Hmm.
what happens when agents treat real estate like a business instead of a hobby?
Oh my goodness, you can be successful. You actually have a job. You have a job, right? I mean, it's true. And I didn't mention one thing that I do to kind of get the right mindset in the morning is I get up and I get dressed for work every day. Can you imagine that? And so and again, this sounds, maybe I'm in the minority. I don't know, but I get up at a set time every day. Now it's nothing crazy early, but it's 6:30, 7 o'clock. When I was up at 6:15. But I shower, I do my devotional, I'll take a quick walk, but then I get dressed because here's the thing. If I go run up to Publix, you're in Florida, you get it, right? And if I'm in my professional, clothes, if I run into somebody, right? How many times do you do that? And it could be a real estate future transaction, right? And I always picture myself not getting dressed. And I did this when I got back in the business, and I had to really think about this. I'd get up, I'm like, yeah, I'll shower, I'll do some stuff in the morning, I'll piddle around, have a hat on, jeans, sweats, hat, and what if I run out? Now, what if I run out? It's that Publix again at 10 or 10:30. I run into somebody, I got a hat on, I got sweats on his shorts, I got a t-shirt like it's a Saturday morning.
Hmm.
What is my perception going to be to them? Oh, there's Brian. Oh, I guess he's not in real estate. He doesn't even dress like he's going to go show homes or anything. Was he doing yard work or something?
That's
Right?
a good point. That's a really good point.
Think about that. Wouldn't you think that if you saw somebody like that, you think, oh, they're off today, or they're not they might not be doing the business, or perception is reality for some people. So I always wanted to, if I run into somebody in the morning, not that I'm bopping in stores every morning, by the way, but if I do, I want to be ready to go. And my advice to any agents today would be, if you get a call at 9 or 10, if you're lead generating during that or right after, if you get a call to go show a house at 10 or 10:30 or 11, be ready to go. But if you got to get dressed and blow it off till the afternoon, you could be missing a client. So not only physically are you ready to go, dressed to go, but also mentally, it's like, this is work time. So that's really helped me a lot.
That's awesome. And guess what? Where that I think mindset comes from. I'm European, so I grew up in Budapest,
Hmm.
and I just had a conversation with a gentleman at the gym that I know, and he's living in Italy now, and he works for a major company, U.S. Military branch, et cetera, et cetera. So he goes to the store. He's like, I'm dressed in flip flops and shorts, and all these people are always dressed really nice, and that's what all they do. And I make more money than they do. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter how much money you make; it's how you show. And in
Yeah.
Europe, it's not kind of not acceptable not to get dressed. They'll look at you weird if you're not dressed up to go out of your house.
Oh, wow.
The only place where you wear like home clothes, it's home clothes. It's called home clothes for home.
Hmm.
You don't go out in your, you get, even if you wear flip flops, it's a nice pair of flip flop, leather flip flops or
Yeah.
whatever, because you're going
Yeah.
to the beach or something, but you're always dressed like you're ready to do a deal or a business or
Interesting.
meet your next, better half or whatever it is. You're
Mhm.
always dressed for the occasion. So even going to the store, all the ladies get dressed up, all the men get dressed up, and they go
Hmm.
to the store. Yeah, it is interesting, but I've noticed that when I came to America and I was going to the stores, and I'm like, everybody's dressed like they're in their pajamas,
Yeah.
and
Right.
I always wear a polo shirt, nice shorts, it's
Yeah.
Florida, so I'm not always the suit
Right.
kind of guy,
Right. Right.
different category, but
Yep.
still, I always dress to the par of I can represent if I need to.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
And to that point, different markets. If I'm selling condos in Key West, maybe dressing whatever shorts
Yeah.
or just it's a little bit different, right? Again, I'm not judging how people dress, but to your point, be professional, look well put together, and be ready to have a good business conversation.
Hair's always done, beard's
Yes.
trim, ready
Yes.
to go, conversational
Yes.
attitude, always look up to the par for that. And
And-
I think that it means a lot, and not just in our business, in any business. I think it's a great cultural thing in Europe that they do that
Mhm.
because it motivates you to every day do the grind of getting ready.
Yes.
And when you step out the door, you're ready to meet someone,
You're ready to go. And let me add one other little, this sounds OCD, but this is true, just to elaborate on this. So when I first got back in the business in 2015, I would get dressed, but I put on regular blue jeans and a collared shirt, something very basic. And here's what I thought. I'm getting back in the business. If I interview for a listing, which I do once in a while, I mean, still I compete. I want every advantage I can have to beat the other agent, right? I don't do jackets and tie. It just is not me, right? But I thought, wait, I'm going to start wearing more nicer jeans, dress jeans, maybe a polo, tuck in, try to look still myself. I'm not going to be I'm not going to fake it like that.
Yeah.
But every edge I can get to try to beat my competitor, and I still do it with other things, with product and presentations. I want it because I want the business.
Correct.
And if I can dress a little bit better than I was just going out in jeans, I'm like, I got to step up.
That's one of my things. Anytime I go to my first appointments, I always dress up to the ninth. Nice. I wear a suit, okay, for first.
Good for you. That's awesome, man.
Every day I go out, I usually get dressed up in a polo or a nice pair of shorts, whatever I wear. Because I also do construction. We talked about it a little bit in the beginning. So I can't always wear the fancy clothes because sometimes I need to get my hands dirty. So I can't be in a suit,
right,
with a hammer on a piece of wood. But I can wear something presentable and still be able to work. They have those contractors that work in a polo and nice pair of shorts. You can still do that. So I think that is, I found like this middle ground.
That's good. Well, you're in construction too, so it's different in Florida.
Yeah, exactly. It's also first appointments always, and then I feel them out how they are, and then I mirror. So try to dress like they dress.
Nice.
Second appointment, third appointment, fourth appointment. So kind of figure out if they're always wearing, button-ups or they're t-shirt and shorts kind of guys. Because if they're that, I'll wear something similar. I think it is good for them to feel comfortable, because if I'm always wearing a suit, they might feel uncomfortable with me. And then for closings, I always also dress up. I think I had one closing out of my 200 plus closings that I wasn't fully dressed up in a suit, and it was this year. I remember it because it was this year. Yes, I always wear a suit to my closings, except for that one closing. I was running from a construction site to meet the client at the closing table, like last minute kind of thing. It's like, I could be. She asked me to be there. I was like, yes, of course I could be there. And I'm like, I'm not going to be dressed up though, because she bought multiple from me and sold with me as well, so she kind of knew me. It was like I could get away with it.
Right.
And don't have to run home somehow and change for that. But I've also done this for a closing this year. I got told 2 hours before the closing that the closing is going to take place in the land. And I live in Port Orange, Daytona. We were working on a house on the beach in Daytona. And it was about an hour and a half drive to the closing. And about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours before the closing, my client calls me. He's like, we're closing today. I said, I didn't get an email from the title company saying that today's the closing. So let me check. I check with the title. Yeah, we're closing today. I'm like, oh my God, you could have told me this yesterday because I would have planned differently.
Right.
So I met my wife. She brought me my suit halfway or like in between, got dressed in the parking lot, ran to the land to do the closing.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
But you gotta go above and beyond,
You do, because they're buying or selling the most important, usually the largest, asset they have, right? So why wouldn't we look very nice and professional? I mean, I'm glad we're talking about this because I think more and more people need to hear this. And again, I would never prejudge somebody, but sometimes I'll see somebody open up a home in a nice neighborhood right near me. Nice realtor. I met him there because their lockbox key wasn't open. They had buyers there. She literally was in shorts, a t-shirt, and she's showing a $1.2 million home. And I just thought I was still professional and nice and no problem. I got it open and left. I'm like, that's how you're showing houses? Really? Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it. So
not in that price range, at least, I mean,
right.
I mean, even on a lower price range, it's unacceptable if you're the listing agent.
It is.
The listing agent, you should at least put slacks or long pants on. If you're a lady, put a dress on. Like, how long does it take?
Correct.
Really, like put a dress on and put some nice shoes on, and then you're good to go. If you're a lady, it's probably easier than for a guy because it's one piece compared to like 3 or 4
Right.
pieces,
But back to your question, that's the difference between a part-timer, somebody it's a hobby, and I'm glad you asked that,
Yeah.
and somebody who treats it like a true business. A true business is when you're getting up, getting dressed professionally,
Yeah.
like we talked about.
Every day. It's
Yep.
important, guys. It's really important. Dress to impress. If you ever watch Ryan Serhant,
Mhm.
he always said he was fake it till you make it. He bought his fake Rolex when he started just to be able to
Mhm.
dress the par to his
Yeah.
clients that he was
Yeah.
showing houses to. So that's the same thing with us. If you can't afford it, don't have to buy the boss suit or the Gucci
Right.
or all
Right.
these. You could buy a nice suit that you could get for a few $100
Right.
and wear that suit until you can afford a nicer one. That's it.
Right.
That's how it goes. But it's an investment in yourself.
Correct.
So with today's tight inventory and rising demand, new construction is becoming a bigger part of the solution. What are you seeing in the Lakeland market right now regarding new homes?
New home construction is booming. You've got your national big builders coming in. I've got one closing at the end of this month with a big box brand. And they're giving away the farm, Lancelot. They're buying down rates, right? If you use their lender, they'll pay for all the closing costs. They always do that, which they jack them up, put in a builder's fee. It's 15 to 20,000, which by the way, they're just build money in there. But, it works for the buyer because they get all their closing costs paid for. So closing costs paid for. My buyer is closing at he had two options. I think it was a 4.25 or 4.5 fixed rate. I can't remember what it was. He had a buy down option and a permanent. He went with the permanent, which made sense. So their interest rates, options, upgrades, quick closing, it's hard to compete with new home construction right now.
Oh, I know.
They're,
Same in our area.
yeah.
499. I even had 385 from a builder this year.
Wow.
3.85% interest, everything paid. I'm like, and the price, it was originally listed at 440. They were down, or 340, sorry, and they were down at 310 already.
Wow. Yes.
I was like, holy moly, deal of the year, deal of the century.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Good for your buyers. I love that.
Yeah, it's amazing. And why are so many buyers overlooking new build opportunities?
Why are they overlooking what?
New build opportunities.
That's a good question. I'd say probably sometimes it's just awareness of what's available in the areas that they're looking. Because once I start to bring new home construction into the equation, which I try to, the best I can, that they're just not aware of it. They're not seeing the options out there. They're not aware that there's a new community in this location that they're looking in. Once we make them aware of it, as a real estate agent, I'm telling you, if you work with new construction, it's normally a less hoops to jump through with what? Home inspections. They're going to get a walkthrough. All the closing costs we talked about. You don't have to worry about a termite inspection. They get a termite bond with their new home. Closing is easy. They just walk them right through. In fact, most builders want to just take the realtor and go, I got it now. Thank you. See you later. I'll see it closing. See it closing. And yet, so they really do. That's the truth. Now, what we do try to is and how our sell on this is because I really still believe, as you know, having representation with a new home build is important. And I won't veer off on that, but it's very important for us to make the buyers aware of what's going on in the market. And new home is a great option because they get a warranty on it too. So I think it's great.
I think a lot of times it's location because these guys, they want to stick to a location and then you open up their eyes to, because in my area, new builds are happening west of 95. We don't have any more really good new builds east of 95. So they're like, well, I want to be in that community and, around there, that area. And I'm like, great. Here's the same house that's brand new for the same price that you're looking at right now over there.
Mm-hmm.
But this one will not flood because it's lifted up, has the warranties, has this, has that. Yes, it might not have the lot that you're looking for as in, distance from your neighbors, but you're getting a brand new house. So there's, a pay, how do you call it? A trade-off for something. And a lot of people actually go with the new constructions when you open their eyes to that. It's like, hey, do you want to move into a house that nobody ever lived in?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're the first person that's going to move in there. You're the first person that's going to sleep there. You're the first person that's going to cook there. You're the first person that's going to, show the kids the backyard. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
It's all those memories you can create in that house that is only your memories.
Right.
No bad
All the
juju.
all the appliances are under warranty, the manufacturer's warranty. I mean, you get a builder's warranty. And this new couple that's moving in into this month, I said, hey, it's going to be nice because you have 2 young kids. You don't have to worry about maintenance on a home for a while. I mean, you're going to have little things, but it's going to be pretty easy the first several years.
Yeah. How can builders and realtors work together more effectively?
I think it's just real estate agents hopping in your car, hopping online, finding the communities that are close to you that you can help your clients with. And also, it's always nice. There is, we have DR Horton. We have several DR Horton locations here, which I like. I think they build a nice home. But I've literally got probably 2 to 3 of those representatives reaching out to me all the time, want me to send them business, right? So I was working with a girl who retired a couple years ago. And so what I would say is find a builder rep that you really like with that company and stick with them, and then call them whenever you have a buyer that's looking for a particular home. And so having the relationships with them is great, because here's the thing. When you have a good relationship with a rep from a big, any kind of builder, if for some reason, and you probably had this happen to you, we try to pre-screen our buyers that if you go to a model center, please let them know I'm representing you and I'm helping you. But sometimes they drop into a model center and they forget to mention your name. And then you have to have that conversation that you steered them that way, meaning said, drop by and take a look at it. Steer is not a good word in the real estate industry. I don't know why I said that, but you've directed them that way to try to check it out. And then a quick phone conversation, and that rep, very important, will cover you, right? They're going to cover you for commission. So having that relationship with them is everything. Now, some builders want you to physically bring them in there. I get all of that, but every builder is a little bit different. So to have that relationship is a big deal.
Yeah. One of the things that sets you apart is your willingness to talk openly about faith and how it shapes your work. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to you to be a realtor of faith?
Well, that's a great question. I've been a Christian for about 30 years now. And so I did start my channel, Realtors of Faith, on YouTube. And, it's my foundation. It's really everything, right? I mean, the Lord put me in this business to help people. And so I love it. I love what I do. It's a calling. And so it's everything, right? And God calls us to honor and glorify him in our work. And so, we're to serve people. Like Jesus came not to be served, to go, come on, do it for me. He came to serve. So I want to serve other people in my work and just to do a good job. Colossians 3:23 says, do everything unto the Lord, not unto men, but unto God. So when I get up in the morning, when I'm talking to people that sometimes I don't want to talk to, I'm like, all right, God, I'm doing this unto you. I want to please you. I want to be a light. I want to make a difference in a dark world, in a world there's just junk going on everywhere. Use me to make a difference, to draw people closer to you, and that maybe they can just feel the peace, feel your spirit, and to make a difference in people's lives.
That's amazing, my friend. How do integrity, patience, and empathy show up in your appointments?
It's just doing those little things we talked about, just shooting it straight with people. I mean, I am a believer, and I do my best to be honest and use integrity. I'm not perfect. I goof up, right? I don't intentionally do that, but I'm not, none of us are perfect. But I think when you make those small decisions over time, that they add up and forms your reputation and your name, which will go ahead of you over time as you build that. And people in the community will talk about, hey, we've heard your reputation here. We've heard you do a good job. And guess what that means? That means referrals. That means people are going to send people to you because you did a good job with them. You weren't perfect, but you were a good agent and you worked hard and you really helped them out. They'll send you future business, which is always a blessing.
Yeah. How do you balance professional service with spiritual grounding?
I mean, I'm always very respectable with people, so I don't shove Jesus down their throat. You know what I'm saying? And I don't pray with everybody, but I try to go in just to be a good, solid believer and just to treat them right. Everybody is, God's made everybody in his image, right? So I just try to treat people like I get to the privilege to steward a relationship. and I get to hang out with them for a little bit. And as you know, in real estate, we're usually with people, a couple months, 2-3 months, sometimes longer, depending if we can find them a house. But so I just try to steward that well, to do a good job, treat people right. And if they're open to it, if I know they're believers, then we'll pray together. We'll talk about the Lord. But if they're not, 100% fine. Just try to treat them right.
What would you say to an agent, or what would you say to agents who want to lead with values but worry about perception?
Well, I would say be who God made you to be. You're uniquely crafted, how you are supposed to be. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't compare yourself to somebody else, because there's always somebody that's better, prettier, better what they do. There's also somebody worse, uglier than you that don't do a good job, that are lazy, right? Just stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Whatever lane God's put you in, you stay in that lane, and just don't worry about comparison, right? Because there's no win in comparison. With social media, we're always comparing our backstage life to people's highlight reel, what they're putting online. So don't do that. Stay in your lane and just live the life how you're supposed to live your life.
You built 2 YouTube channels, Living in Lakeland, Florida, and Realtors of Faith. How has content creation helped you serve people beyond traditional transactions?
Last night, we're on the way home, my wife and I get a message, and it's somebody that called. And so I told my wife, I said, it's 8:30. I usually don't try to talk on the phone after. I don't know about you, but I don't want to talk to people.
8.
Yeah, 8. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Dude, I'm not even that good. I'm telling you right now. So we listened to this. Here's what their message was. I could probably play it, which I won't. Hey, this is so-and-so. We're watching YouTube, and we saw one of your videos. And about this condo, we want to have some questions about it. And I still scratch my head, go, people really watch these YouTube videos. It's crazy. I just laugh. And my wife goes, you should call him. I'm like, honey, I don't talk about it. So I said, all right, I'll call him. So I called him up literally last night. They inquired about a condo. I didn't even know which one it was. It was one I recorded like a week ago. We talked about it. Super nice people, funny. And I sent them a couple homes, condos this morning. And so I'm starting to get, to your question, referrals from it, buyers, sellers. YouTube sits on Google. And as you know, Google is the largest search engine. YouTube is number 2. So people are on YouTube. So it is helping my digital presence get out there. And so what I would always talk to agents and say, man, go get your digital footprint, get online, get your Google reviews, start a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel started 3-4 years ago, very basic stuff, and it's slowly progressing. And I don't get a ton of leads, but I'm getting more traction from it. But it's taken time to do it. And I would just say, keep dropping the videos, man. It'll pay off.
Awesome. What video topics resonate the most with locals or future home buyers?
Living in Lakeland, Florida is good. That's the name of my channel. So they say you should start your YouTube channel based on the area you live. So if you're in Daytona Beach, living in Daytona Beach, what does that look like?
Port Orange Real Estate, I think. Port Orange Real Estate.
Yeah.
Port Orange. Yeah. Lancelot Lenard, Port Orange Real Estate agent or something like that.
Yeah. Something like that. So there's a couple different guys I follow. So mainly just local stuff. I know Mike Sherrard is in our organization. And so he's got a thing that's called the Wolf Pack. And so we have a bunch of media that we can learn from. It's amazing. And so he talks about making videos that are evergreen. Like you could do, living in Orangeport, Florida, that you don't have to date it and it'll stay on YouTube and get views forever. So making some of those evergreen videos, living in Lakeland, Florida, what that means, that will drive traffic for a long time.
Awesome. And how do you keep your message consistent across your content?
What's worked for me is what I could say is worked for me, and that's doing home tours, walkthrough videos. That's the main thing I do. I get my iPhone. It's very simple. And I get it. I walk through a house and I do a slow tour. And I just say, here we go. And I'll do a little intro myself out in front of the house, little intro. I'll do the body of it and I'll walk through and take 10 to 12 to 15 minutes, nothing fancy. Then at the very end, do a call to action. Hey, hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe to my channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Very basic. Go to CapCut, drop some music to it, upload it. Again, I'm making this sound simple. It really is, but it takes a little bit of work, and do it over time, and it will start to generate business for you.
That's interesting. Old school in a way, 15-minute video. I think that it's tough, because how do you grab their attention for 15 minutes?
So here's what I've learned. And here's what I would say. Again, 3 or 4 years in this space. What I found on my channel is that people want to watch longer forms of video. So actually long form, again, know that I'm a realtor and I'm just in this space. But what I found on my channel is the longer I make my videos, the more watch time I get and the more traction I get. It's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, because when I started my channel, I have 2 channels. I have this one with the podcast, of course, and then I have my real estate channel. And the real estate channel, I have Evergreen videos that are still getting a lot of views, but most of my videos, my horizontal videos, are like 3-4 minutes long, tops. Or my short content is vertical,
Yes.
So, and those are, I'm trying to fit how to educate people into 1 minute videos,
Yes.
and explaining interest rates in 1 minute. And what a Buydowns is and stuff like that is super hard.
It is. And shorts are good. I do shorts too, right? So I drop shorts all the time because they attract attention, but people are bopping around on shorts. So when you do long form content, and because on purpose, I do mine longer because of what you just said. And you'll see, if you try them, it'll be weird at first. Like, I feel like I'm so long. But when you do 10 to 15 minute videos, 17 minute, I think there's a sweet spot, 12 to 15 minutes, I think. It will feel weird, but you'll start to see you'll get more traction on those, surprisingly, than you will sometimes on the short stuff. Not the shorts, the vertical, but the horizontal shorter videos.
That's awesome. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Because I always have a professional videographer come in and film my houses that I list. And we try to fit it into 4 minutes, usually what he does.
Yes. Now, the professional ones that maybe you're talking about, I'll do those on my upper ends. Yeah, those are always 2 to 3 minutes. And honestly, I drop them on YouTube. I don't get near the views. That's the reason I started taking my iPhone or get a gimbal and go literally talk the whole time. Don't be boring, but and I just walk through it and I talk about the house.
Okay.
So
a shot.
It works. I'm telling you, man, people watch it. That's the reason I'm telling you, these people are watching my condo and I walk through, you can look at my channel. It's 12 to 15 minutes. And I'm just your average. I'm talking about the house. People watch that stuff. It's crazy. And probably 40 to 50% are watching it on their television, not on their phones.
Wow. Even cooler.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's awesome. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to have to do that on my
just try it.
Price listings.
Yeah.
And for agents starting YouTube today, what's the first step?
First step is to create a channel and do your first video.
Yeah, good first steps. Definitely. Don't be shy, just get it done.
Get it done.
So, nearly 30 years in the business is rare. What are the core practices that have kept you thriving for so long?
I would say putting the right people around me. I've learned from a lot of great people. I've been mentored and just watched a lot of people that really have won in this space and try to emulate them. Even after 30 years, I watch Tom Ferry, his real estate coach. I just started watching Brian Buffini more. Really like Brian. I've been to the summit, Tom Ferry Summit, the last 3 years in Dallas. And I listen to a lot of podcasts. And with our company at EXP, there's a lot of collaboration. So I'm learning from them. I like Ricky Carruth. He's hilarious.
I like Ricky.
Ricky is amazing, dude. He is so off the charts and he's hilarious. And did you see him and Tom Ferry were with each other for 2.5 hours? He posted yesterday.
I haven't seen that one yet.
I'll wait to hear that interview. That's like, this is like the goats, man. I mean, not really. Tom Ferry would be. Ricky's getting to that point. He talked about how he's starting to work on his branding more because he was interviewing Sirhan, Leo from EXP. Ricky is branding. His branding is blowing up, and it doesn't surprise me because he's funny. He knows his stuff. He gets in your face,
and he gives back a lot.
He does.
His Gold Bar community. It was for free in the beginning. That's like $100, and you get all his ways of doing business and drumming up business and everything. I love watching because he's motivational too in a lot of ways. And finally a positive sound in the real estate market. Now that we're at what was it, 4,500 transactions this year, going down, or 450,000 transactions from 2 million a few years ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
imagine that we're a quarter of the transactions, and this guy's out there's like, you're going to slaughter it next year.
Yeah.
You're going to kill it. You're going to be the best.
That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be your best year ever. You mark my word. You're going to kill it next year. You watch. You watch.
Love to watch that guy. It's so fun.
Yes.
Oh, whatever he does. It's like,
oh yeah, no. Ooh-wee. That's what you start.
It's just, oh my God, that's how he got me. It's like, oh my God, that is pretty cool. I'm going to watch this guy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah. In fact, him and Tom Ferry did a quick little story, and Tom Ferry went, ooh, and then Ricky did it too. So you can tell that's his thing, So the good news about that, Lancelot, is when I listened to Brian Buffini's yesterday, his podcast on next year, and this was all on facts. He said that there's going to be 20% less realtors in the business next year, like 200 to 300 are dropping out. And I don't wish that on anybody. However, the part-timers, the grandmas, grandpas, uncles that do one deal a year, don't know what they're doing, probably good, right? 20% reduction in real estate agents. And then business next year should be up either it's 14 or 16% more transactions. So you got a 20% drop in realtors, an increase of 14% in business. And he said that 3 times.
More than 20% drop. Since the lawsuit, we dropped 600,000 realtors dropped out from the 2 million. So I think it's closer to 25, almost 30% of the realtors dropped out. But that's nationwide, statistics. For us, it might be a little different. I think our board is strong with the same numbers it was during and after. It's crazy, but we didn't change numbers. But, around the country, a lot of people dropped out. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
The last question here. What do you want your legacy in this industry to be?
Man, I really hope that I do leave a legacy. I hope that people, when I'm long gone, they're like, man, the guy was nice. He treated me fairly. He worked hard. He made it happen for me. He proved results. He got my house sold, or he helped us find a house. He was a good dude to work with. He wasn't pressure. He was honest. He was straightforward, and I liked working with him. And maybe they could see a little bit of a difference in me than they could a traditional real estate agent. That's my hope.
Brian, thank you very much. Your insights today reinforced that real estate isn't built on trends or shortcuts. It's built on faith, discipline, and serving people with consistency over decades. Thank you for sharing your experience, your wisdom, and your heart with us today. For everyone listening, make sure you follow Brian's work and subscribe to his channels, Living in Lakeland, Florida, Realtors of Faith. You can also connect with him at brianstevens.org and on all major social platforms. If you enjoyed today's episode, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share this with another agent who needs to hear it. This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Lancelot Lenard, and we'll see you in the next conversation. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us on Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, where we've unveiled the mysteries of real estate together. Remember, in this kingdom of possibilities, every dream home is just a discussion away. I can help your real estate dreams come true. Just call me at 786-449-7518. Until our next roundtable, may your ventures be prosperous and your homes be filled with love and joy. Farewell, fellow knights of real estate.